welcome to Friday's Sugar User Group call. We have 24 people on the call, and that's actually more than I expected, actually 25 now, because I got 10 emails, when I sent out the announcement saying that they aren't here today. So we're all the hardcore folks that work on Labor Day, the Friday before Labor Day weekend. So thank you for being here. I actually have I'm curious about, Teresa already answered because she's good at reading the agenda, but I'm curious on what percentage of you actually let people know that you're out of the office, like even if you're out just for a day. So if you could just enter in the chat whether you change your email so people know that you're not in the office for a day. I'm just curious. So yes, if you do it all the time, if you just do it partially for more than 4 hours, I like that. All the time. Yes, all the time. Only for a week or more. I'm always available. Get email on my phone. Oh, Claudia, you should not be always available. Okay, Jessica, does anybody not know how to do the email notification? Depends on why I'm out of the office, for work or not. Yeah, if I'm out of the office outside of work, like vacation, I do let people know. And Phil says out for a day, 3+ days, okay. Phil, I have to call you since you never get any calls. Actually, why don't you put your phone number and we can all call you at once. More than 24 hours. So it is interesting. We're getting the different procedures that people do. I usually forget if I'm only out for a day. Okay. What I'm going to talk about is just a reminder on the QI Navigator Save the Date. Talk a little bit about some updates on council visit tickets, and then any user questions. So while I'm going through, if you have any user questions, let's go ahead and put them in the chat box. Or if you are only calling in on the phone, feel free to chime in and say what you want to get covered today. Okay, so the first thing is on November 16th, I announced this last Friday, and you should get a mail on Tuesday because we were thinking that a lot of people would not read their email until after they got back from Labor Day, so that's why we didn't send it today with more details. So we're going to have a QI Navigator Sugar User training on November 16th, which is the Wednesday before the ECCLA meeting and the TA day on Friday. So make sure you save the date. One of the things that I will be doing is making sure that all the materials on the support site, so I'm going to go to that. All these materials are updated, so I definitely have to get working on that, and we'll be making handouts for whoever's in training. So if you have any feedback on what you would like on that day, we will try to differentiate it by if you're beginning, intermediate, advanced, that type of thing. But if you have any specific content that you would like for the day, please let us know. And sort of the second thing that I will be asking is what you need to know for your job. And what's interesting is that some people only need an overview on where stuff is, and other people really need an in-depth knowledge and have to do practice. So I'll be putting together the training. Any feedback that you have, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so any questions on the training? And if people could, let's say, put in the chat window that if you're thinking about going or you can't come or you won't be going to the training. Nicole is excited to attend. Oh, Nicole, I'm excited that you're excited. Angie will be there. Claudia, you're great. More than just Claudia is coming. She understands. Andrea will be there. Tentative. Oh, what training, Rick? I just got on the call. On November 16th, thank you for letting me market this again, is on November 16th, the day before the ECCLA meeting, as well as 2 days before the TA day in November. We will be doing a training for the major audience is QI navigators, but it's anybody that wants to learn more about sugar. And Lisa, we're going to be working up an agenda, so much more clear. We'll be sending out a survey on Tuesday, to get a little more idea of what people will want. Sharon, cool. You and Lilith will be there. Melinda, who might need this training, new to sugar users or even experienced? Yes, both. New users and experienced users, we're going to have different sessions. And actually on the sugar advisory group, I'm going to see if anybody wants to be trainers. Margaret will be there. Yesenia will be there. No, it's not going to be at DECC, Jose. I have to look up where it's going to be. So it's the same place that that we're doing the ECCLA membership meeting and the TA day. I wish that Sarah was here because she knows right away where it is and the address and all that. Community First Foundation, Angie, you're wonderful. Do you have the address handy? $58855 Wadsworth Bypass, Unit A, Arvada. So I'm going to put this on here. Cool. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so the first announcement, I want to make sure, I just sent this out this morning again. I got the email from OEC. So I'm going to, again, to the forums, because that's where I put all the announcements, and in announcements, and then the update for yesterday's CCRNR and council updates. There is I wanted you all to see this in case you didn't see it in your email, because there's a deadline of September 7th about what additional funds you want for Race to the Top for July 1st through October 31st. So I thought that was really important to bring up on this meeting, as well as for you to read this email. For anybody that's on the call from the state, do you want to sort of get on and explain this anymore? Or, yeah, why doesn't somebody get on and just say if you want to add anything or not? And I know some of you are here, so you have to decide which one. Maybe Monica.
Hey Rick, it's Monica. I had to unmute myself.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think it's probably best if each council coordinator just calls their QRS coordinator, because it could be so individualized, and I wouldn't want to waste everyone's time.
Okay. Good. So call your QRS coordinator. Read this and call them. Thank you very much,
And all
Monica.
four of us, sure, all four of us are here today sitting by our phones.
Okay, they're waiting. So as soon as you want to call them, call your coordinators. Thank you, Monica.
This is Kelly Wilson. We are here ready to help you with it. It's not going to be as confusing as it may seem. So we just want to make sure that we're here to support you with it and do it nice and smoothly. Thanks.
Thank you, Kelly. I love hearing your voices. Okay, so I was at a council this week, and the feedback I got was that sometimes the sugar calls are at too level for some, for the users that are on the call. So I really, really want to try to make this call as useful for every level. So please, feel in the chat. You can send a private chat if you don't feel like the whole group knowing it. On the bottom of your chat window, it says to everyone, or you could just send it to me or Jose that, what the heck did you just say? Or I didn't catch what you did on the screen. So I want to make sure everybody feels really comfortable about giving feedback on these calls or in training or on the documents. Okay, there were a couple basic questions that that came up that I thought were interesting. One of our documentations, the first thing was in reports, and so she tried to do the report and couldn't do anything, and so she got frustrated and left left the documentation, which I don't want. I want people to feel comfortable with the documentation. So I'm going to go through and sort of show you what the problem was. I'll go to sugar. And then reports. And she had typed in a long title. I'll put requisitions approved. And you can see in this case, no results found. And she tried it different ways, but I suggested that she just shorten. I just put requi. And then there's a lot that showed. So basically just her problem was putting in too much information in the title because it couldn't match. So the % sign is a little bit better. So that will find it in the case, but a lot of times people will put too much in here. Or the other thing that will happen is, let's say something is selected that they aren't sure about, and then if I put requisitions, see no results are found, and that's because I had accidentally selected Amy Bolts, and that would be only reports that Amy has created. So the other tip is clicking clear, and then whoops, clear, and then typing in so you can see the report names. Okay, so that was sort of the first aha moment for me, is that for some people the lists, the instructions are too complicated and they get frustrated and they leave. One of the people that I was training says that they cuss sugar because they're so frustrated with it. So feel free to cuss sugar all you want, but we do want to make it work for you. Another thing that was a basic thing is that in the lists that people were doing, and this is whether you're looking at a list of all requisitions, the list of all providers, these titles at the top allow you to sort. So like if I wanted to see the first report or the last report, I can click on date created and it will sort either ascending or descending. Or if I wanted to sort by user, I can click on the user column and it sorts by that name. So like it's the last name in this case for users. So Joni's reports are it's sorting descending, and then Sonia Bade, or Bade, I don't know how to pronounce Sonia's name, but since she's the first one with the letter E. Okay, are there any questions on reports that I just went over? And again, I will be narrowing the number of reports and putting a pound sign or an exclamation point at the beginning so they sort with important reports first. Could you all either put that no questions, or if you have a question? I'm good. Yay, I like it. Again, I like feedback. So thank you, Nicole. I'm going to go into this second, the bulk email documentation. So I am going back into the Sugar support site, clicking on search, and I'm going to type bulk email. Bulk importing entries. See, this one is too long. There's actually another one. I'm going to see if I can find the second one. Email. Oops, I don't want tickets, so I'm going into solutions. Recording outreach. This is the one that she was talking about. We did do this on July 3rd, this call. So the problem was, here's the three different parts. Recording outreach is putting your communication or email. So that's the first video. Second one is actually making the list. So you can send this to us at support@ECCLAcolorado.org. And then the third one is making the ticket for us so we can see. So here are the steps. And again, what I would like you to do is if something is too complicated or too hard to understand, you go to the bottom. Oops, this is my view, not your view. I'm going to go back to customer portal. And I'll go this way, reporting outreach. Here's the same email, the same article. So if you go down to the bottom, and then you can say, if you find it helpful, you can say yes, no, then you can say need more information, or difficult to understand, or inaccurate, or missing and broken link. You can click any of those or all of them. And then you can say, like, for example, could not do step 1 to get to reports. So you can say something like that, and that will help us with the documentation. Are there any questions on where to find this bulk email update? It does look long, so I'm going to try to see if I can simplify it again. Thank you for showing. You're welcome, Angie. I appreciate it. Again, I'm guessing what you might want to know, what you might want to see. So we're at the part of the meeting where I've guessed what you might want to do. Now please put in any user questions that you have. or you can unmute your audio. You can write in the chat what a question you have. Tiffany says, on a future call, I'd like to learn how to set up professional development in ECCLA. Their DECC is the only council that's using the training. And so I'm going to show you just generally where to go. If you are in Sugar and training is not one of the options on your menu, you can click the More options and go to Training. These are, you can see these examples. So if you wanted to go to one of the examples that's in here, you can see it has what kind of enrollment, start date, end date, type, who the target audience is, what kind of funding. It's probably all the domain is early learning, what kind of information is, so if it's a conference, guidance, health, nutrition, safety, culture, competency, etc. This workforce competency is showing you whether it's child growth and development, child observation, family and community partnerships, guidance, health, safety and nutrition, professional development, program planning and development, or teaching practices. If there's a fee, if registration approval is required, what kind of availability it is. So it only is available by invite, restricted funding, open to the public, how many sessions there are, who's the trainer or the co-trainer. You can put the language in, and it will keep track of who's enrolled. So here's just the beginning. So Tiffany, if you want to get started and look at this, then we can probably use your training that you want to do as for more feature for the session. Does that sound okay? Okay, cool. So if you go ahead and try it, when Erin is not on the call or somebody that has already set up training, are they? I don't see Erin on the list. So Erin Ganger at DECC is sort of the expert in training, and so I may get her helping us if we need more additional help. Okay, Teresa's having trouble assigning internal coaching hours to Stepping Stones Days School. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put that question in our agenda so it shows up. Okay, so do you have the license number, Teresa, handy? I can look it up, but it's always good when you do a support call to give us the license number so I don't actually get the wrong account.
Okay, I don't have it handy.
Okay.
But I get it.
No, that's all right. I'll go ahead and put stepping in. And which one? It looks like there's a lot of stepping stones.
SSDS1, I believe, is the right one.
This one?
Yes.
DSI? Stepping stones?
Yeah.
This one? Okay.
It's like an eye test. Is it enough?
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's the right one.
all right. So do you have, it looks like, would it be under CCAP is the coaching?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to double check under here to make sure that you have the requisition for internal coaching hours, because that could be a problem.
And that is the problem. I don't have one. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
No, I do.
Down, I clicked on, what I did is I went into your account, and then I scrolled down to see the applications.
Right.
And down here under applications, because the requisitions that are underneath applications, I wanted to see, some people have externals and other people have internal coaching. So I wanted to see if that might be the problem. So I clicked on the application name. And within the application, I'm scrolling down and see, I see that it's an internal coaching. So I'm actually going to go there and see, okay, so you have 10 hours. None are used yet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
The problem I was having, because we don't do transfers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I would try and do the requisition, and it would tell me I had an error that I needed a funding stream. And there was no funding stream, nor could I click and like do a search or choose from a drop down.
Okay, well, you see where I'm at right now?
Yes.
I'm in the requisition for internal coaching. So what I did is I'm sort of checking that you have the funding stream to begin with. And so I see that you do, and that you have 10 hours and you haven't used any. So I can just come down here and see there is a coaching details off of this requisition. And from here, I can hit the plus. And then it already assigns that requisition, that funding stream. And do you want to go ahead and fill this out together so we can see if it works?
I don't have the information. The
Oh,
coach
okay.
does.
So do you want me to repeat how we got here?
No, I got it.
Okay.
The problem I was having was that there was no internal coaching assigned to that grant. And so, yeah, I'm curious as to how you assign without a transfer.
Okay. When the user is in Salesforce, I'm going to go in for this provider. Actually, I'll go back and see what their number is so I can look up. So I'm going back to Stepping Stones Day School and clicking on their licensing so I can get their number so I don't have to go through all the different stepping stones in Salesforce. Okay, so I'm looking up Salesforce, and when I go to the dashboard, so I clicked on their site and then I'm going to the dashboard, and then quality improvement and QI incentives. So after they go in here, and as soon as they go through the application and hit the submit button, what actually happens is you see that this is actually, it says connecting to your local early childhood council. What this is doing is going into Sugar. So from Colorado Shines, it goes into Sugar, retrieves all the information. It does take a while. You have to be patient. So when they go in, and check this, and then hit renew and reply, and then finish the process, at that time, as soon as they hit the submit apply button at the end of the process, it does two things. It goes into their record, and it creates the application with two requisitions. So at that time is when the requisition in the application, by default, it creates this QI dollars requisition and the internal. it won't say approved until you go through the process, so it says preliminary. But at that time, it does create these two. So you don't really do anything, because when the provider goes through and does the application, it creates these two requisitions.
Okay, so basically I was impatient and should have waited until they had completed their part in ECCLA.
Correct. Well, as long as they've done, at least started the application, you'll get, I mean, as long as you get, even if these are not approved, I mean, the best practice is, to not do coaching, etc., definitely spending before these are approved. But you can, while these are still here, even if they're not completely approved, you could do a coaching, by clicking in here and adding and going back to where we were for the coaching details.
Rick, this is Angie, and I think that the issue is we didn't have that visible, because I just went through the same steps that you did to see the requisitions, and on my end it shows nothing. There's nothing there. It says no data is available.
Okay, so
I think that was the problem, that there was no requisition for coaching for that site, but obviously there is, because you just showed it, but we don't have it visible to us.
Oh, your requisite on yours? You can't
Correct.
see?
I can't see that. It says no data available.
Here?
Correct.
Oh. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what I'm doing is I'm looking at, oh, this is interesting. See over here, it's only showing to global. What is your council abbreviation? Is what?
PECC. No, P as in Paul.
Oh, sorry. Okay, and I'm going to go to the other requisition. So this is actually an error. So I'm glad I'm glad you brought it up. Okay, I see here's PECC.
And whatever you just did corrected it, because now I can see the QI dollar.
Yep, I'm going to do the other one. Whoops. Angie, could you send me a ticket so I can sort of and include, sort of what I just did, but say that, because I'm wondering if Teresa Matthews, if her account is set up correctly.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So sometimes that has happened, is that we will, on applications, let me go back. The requisitions won't show, and it's actually, there are multiple reasons why they won't show, but that was an interesting one, that was that for some reason the account wasn't attached somehow to PECC, so I'm not sure exactly why that application didn't show up, but it was showing up for me, so because I can see any kind of permission. So that was an interesting troubleshooting. But just send us a ticket if you can't see details. But Teresa, thanks very much for that challenge.
Thanks for fixing it.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Let's see. Nicole, I do not think there is. Nicole's question, there is a training section. Has there been anything posted about how to use the feature? I'm going to go ahead and look in the support site under solutions. requisition, let's see, recording coaching, requisitions, workflow, email, QI spending. I don't see anything in the categories, so I'll do a training. Step 4, notes on scoring, that's probably not it. Key roles, requisitions. No, but it's a good topic that we'll include later. Okay, Tiffany is saying troubleshoot this one. Okay, is this the same problem? No, there are no requisitions on this one. Oh, please cancel the existing MOU before sending a revision. So, Tiffany, did you try to send out it looks like the MOU is already there. Were you trying to send an amendment? Okay, the MOU was already there for last year, so that's the challenge. So what's the problem with this one? Are they having additional spending this year? Or did you put this MOU in there? They have not spent, okay. So was this MOU already, because in the status for this year, let me see if I can, I'm going to get rid of this MOU. So they haven't signed, I'm going to see if they signed it. We want to, the problem with this is that we need to get rid of this MOU so we can send the current MOU. Is that correct? Okay, good. All right. So I don't know if you have permission to do this, but I'm going to try to do it on mine. And if you have others, you can see. So this is an old MOU, and normally you would not get rid of an MOU because it would be signed and everything. But because there is a new MOU for Race to the Top, we can do it in this particular case. So I prefer that people send me a ticket and not do this on their own. But I'm going to see if I can fix this for Tiffany since we have time. So I'm going to cancel that and then go into actions and move this. See, there's no, well, actually we can click send MOU because there is none in CF. So is it okay now, Tiffany, if I try to send this? Yes, okay. Well, so we'll see what happens. We'll hit save. Okay, I just sent it for you. So in this case, we just had an old MOU that was in here that was sort of clogging up the works. What I did is I clicked on, oh, it can't, see, I can't click on it for this year. So it's gone. glad I could help. Any other questions? I don't see any other questions. I'll talk a little bit and feel free to add your question in the box, but I do like ending meetings early, and since it's a Friday, I'm sure people wouldn't mind the extra 20 minutes. So I'll talk for just a minute and see if there's any more questions. For those that are going to be on the Sugar advisory group call, I will start it at 10:30, so y'all can have a break. But it looks like there's no more questions. So What about interest on setting up a non-CDHS funding streams and requisitions on Sugar to track other coaching efforts and QI could be for the next meeting? Yes. Lisa has always challenging questions that I have to research before I do this online. So is anybody interested? I think that's what you're asking, is not just for you, but saying if other people would be interested, Lisa, on non-CDHS OEC funding streams, if you want to be able to set that up. How many people would like that as a topic for our next? Yes. Other people interested? I'm glad I guessed your question. Yes, Tiffany. We got one yes. Megan. Yes. Oh, I love the confirmation. Okay, so I will research that, probably with Bill to help me with that. So I will, Lisa, if you could remind me, like sort of the day before, if I don't put it on the agenda, that would be great. Any other questions? Oh, okay, yes, we did set up a non-CDH.
An email reminding me to remind you.
Oh, okay.